Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Consulting Diaries. New week, new episode. Thank you, wherever you are joining us from in the world. I am recording this from Johannesburg, South Africa. A bit of a special episode. We're able to cross 50 subscribers. So, woo-hoo! Hey. Thank you to each and every one of you that has subscribed so far. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving. Next stop, 100 subscribers. And that is why I am here today with episode 3, how to build and practice your personal and professional branding. I work in consulting, and in consulting, it's really important to sort of like have a very good and clean reputation, and having a brand forms that part of your reputation. You know, sometimes your name is mentioned in rooms that you've never even walked in, and that's because like your reputation is stellar and everybody in the business knows your brand. So I wanted to dedicate a whole episode to your branding to help, you know, wherever you are in your career, if it can make a difference to you. So without further ado, let's get into it. Cool. So pretty much I'm going to take you through something that I sort of like built. As usual, there are slides to accompany this video, so please check the link in the bio and feel free to follow through, as well as to give your comments and feedback. So this one is pretty simple actually. So first step, you have to align on the purpose of your brand, right? Second step, what do you want your brand to be made up of? And the third step, how do you want to practice and sort of like execute your brand? So let's start with step 1. So this one is pretty simple. It's made up of 3 dimensions, if I may say that. So the first thing is, what values? What are your values? What are the values of the place that you work at? Keep that in mind as you decide to align on your purpose. So at PwC, there's like 5 main values. Reimagine the possible, make a difference, care, working together, and act with integrity. And so, you know, if you think about that, you can then feed it into your purpose. And then also bring in like your personal values. So in the slide links, you'll see that the heading is hyperlinked. So if you click it, you can go on a website that actually does a test in terms of narrowing down on your values. So that also actually helps quite well. Then the next step is your strengths and developments, you know, in terms of like, what are you good at? What do you want your brand to like be known for? And possibly what are you not great at that you actually want your brand to be known for? So if you know your gaps, you are able to focus on that. So the organization that does this quite well is Via Character. They have like full-on reports, whatnot. So if you click the heading, it'll take you to the website, and you can do like a free initial testing. They actually break it down into 24 metrics, which is really cool. Then the third portion is resolutions. Now, if you've been here previously, you know we're big on resolutions. We're big on planning resolutions for the year ahead. So click on that link as well. It will take you to the previous set of slides where it takes you through how to plan your resolution. So I won't go into that much detail, but basically if you bring those 3 together, it sort of helps you align on what is your brand purpose. And mine is pretty simple: to be an inspiration. Whether I'm at home, whether I'm at work, whether I'm with my colleagues, whether I'm online, offline, I literally just want to be an inspiration to the people around me. And my brand values are pretty much clear as well: energy, excellence, and care. I think people attest that is pretty much how I am at work. Lots of energy, lots of excellence, lots of care. So cool, we're pretty much cleared step 1. Now step 2 is where we get into a little of the granular detail and we form our brand. So I split it into 2 dimensions: your personal and your professional. Now the reason I did this is because I didn't want any information to get lost. Those are the 2 most likely scenarios that you'll be in, right? You either be in a home or like a personal space, or you'll be like in a professional setting, whether it's at a conference or not, right? So if we started personal, you see like there are like 5 call outs or something. Yeah, I think there are 5. Starting with your personality, your soft skills, style and fashion, your innovativeness, and your sport and fitness. So the idea is, if you take something like personality, it's sort of like sit and ask yourself, am I an introvert? Am I an extrovert? What do I want to be known for? What are my character traits that stand out? Am I a patient person? Am I a calm person? Am I able to deal with difficult situations well? You write all of these things down. Something like soft skills, like how do you form relationships? What's your EQ? What's your IQ balance? And you sort of like say, look, I want 60% EQ, or I want more IQ, which is like more intelligence based, and you sort of like know what you have to align to. And so that's the idea of the call out cards. Something as intangible as innovativeness, it's saying, what is the length and depth of your knowledge? How much does it vary? Do you know one thing really well, or do you know a lot of things quite broadly? And that sort of like allows you to be able to like cross and link things from like finance, tech, business, and all of that. So that's what that innovativeness call out is really all about. And then you have style and fashion, which is like self-explanatory. Sports and fitness is really cool, because you sort of like are drawn to people who follow the same sport as you, as well as who participate in the same sport as you. There are football leagues at PwC, there's a hockey league, there's also a netball league, and there's a running club as well. People get together and run. So, depending on what you do, you're able to sort of like tap into a different group of people and expose your brand to those people. Then if we switch to the professional side of the framework, we sort of say, let's look at technical skills, let's look at teaming, let's look at diversity, right? These are the things that sort of like make you a professional. And I only focused on those 3, but there's space for you to include your callouts as well. And you'll also notice that I've put in a practice page in the presentation just for your benefit. So cool, something like technical skills. Which tools do you want to be good at? Microsoft Office, Google Workspace. What are you good at personally, and what skills do you want to bring to work? What do you want to contribute to the place that you work? And you sort of like focus on that, and you're like, okay, cool, I want to be good at Excel. I want to be good at business writing. I want to be good at like project planning, whatnot. And that forms part of your technical brand. Teaming, which is actually like my favorite call out on this part, is sort of like, what do you contribute to your team? How do you team? Can your team rely and count on you, or are you sort of like that sole star player that we all want to be? So it's actually like a really cool way of thinking about it, right? Like I'm a mega team player, but I know when I need to step up. But the first thing people say about me is, Emmanuel is a team player, and that is my brand. That is literally what I'm going with. Then the diversity portion is basically you as a person. What diversity do you bring? Like, what do you add to the team from a diversity perspective? In terms of like skills, behaviors, and anything else that you think can contribute to like project work or like other work in your personal space as well. So that pretty much covers the professional leg. And when you do the personal and the professional leg, what you pretty much have to align to is like a list of things that sort of align and indicate how you want to position your brand. Team player, balanced team player or heavily team player, extroverted personality, energetic, calm, cool, analytical based, driver, amiable, so there's really like many compartments to like shift through, and pretty much this step that we just crossed sort of says, where do you want to position yourself? Once we've done that, we're simply on to step number 3. And this is pretty much practicing your brand. And if you've been here before, you know practicing is really, really important to the Consulting Diaries and to Championship Mode. So let's get into it. So practicing is really cool. I broke it up into 3 metrics, or 3 dimensions again. So your reading part, your practicing part, and then your application. So reading is sort of to say, where do you get your information from? How do you keep yourself updated with current affairs? So I follow Quartz publications where they send me like daily news briefings. They have a page dedicated to Quartz Africa. That's how I actually engage with them at first. And they have all these other cool things. They have a podcast called Quartz Obsessions. And you know, I literally like go through these on a daily basis, sometimes on a weekly basis when work gets hectic. Then I really like African fiction. We're talking Chimamanda, we're talking Yagyasi, we're talking Taye Selassie. Really, really beautiful like writers of African fiction. And yeah, I have to pick reading up again because it's part of my resolution list. Then we have consulting material as well, because you know you have to stay relevant in the industry. You know, it's like you have to keep practicing. And then you have like other stuff like poetry that brings out a different side, and anything else that you want to add to the list. Then we have the practicing portion. So this leans into the technical bit a bit more, where we sort of say, okay, you want to be good at Excel, you want to be good at business writing, or whatever skills you want to be good at, right? So for example, the World Economic Forum have a top 50 skills for 2025, and I literally like check that page every 3-4 months to see what's relevant. And I sort of like say, okay, I like this, I like that, I like that, and I sort of like make sure my training is relevant to that. So the good thing is that PwC has internal training, so I really like select the ones that are relevant to me, as well as I do my personal training as well. You know, so like I mostly use Forage. Forage is sort of like really cool because they partner with a lot of other companies, and I also use Coursera. So on Forage, I used to do the BCG virtual experience programs. I did the custom experience program. I did the strategy program. I did the digital transformation program. So I have to find a new one to do. But I'm currently doing a Coursera course, which is the Science of Wellbeing. It's a Yale course by Dr. Laurie Santos, and it sort of like helps me think about Championship Mode and Consulting Diaries, you know, in that whole mind, body, soul aspect. So that's really cool. And you know, picking up these skills and these different things, it allows me to be able to apply it in my personal and my professional space. So professionally, you know, we're talking about like being well-versed at client engagements, being able to present clearly and articulately, you know, because I'm well learned in my field. So one example I can give is the current crisis in, you know, Russia with Ukraine. Immediately when Russia invaded, the prices of fertilizers went sky high because Russia has huge pockets of natural gas, which is a raw material for some fertilizers. So now, because Russia is getting heavily sanctioned, the prices are gonna go up, you know. So in my line of business, I needed to be able to make that link, you know, and that sort of like separates you from just being an average consultant to being top tier. And that's what Championship Mode and Consulting Diaries is about. And similarly in my personal space, you know, picking up all these skills from work, what I read, what I learn from my friends, it allows me to be able to sort of like produce the Consulting Diaries much better and think about Championship Mode in a much more detailed way. And that's pretty much the idea, right? To be able to cross-pollinate the things that you do, and in that way you sort of like break the silos and you're able to actually give a richer, clearer definition, as opposed to if you kept things separate. So pretty much once you go through the read, practice, apply sort of step, you can sort of like align, form your brand, practice your brand. And the important thing to understand is you are the brand at the end of the day, and you have to treat yourself as the brand. you know, how you look, how you speak, what your work says about you, that is part of your brand. So as you go through it, focus on you as the brand and what you can do, and not what, you know, might be too much outside of your realm, but what you can do and what you can do really, really well. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me today. Short and quick. Short and quick and straight to the point. So yeah, I hope you like this. Thank you for tuning in. In the next episode, very cool topic that I want to touch on. I'll keep it under wraps for now. So all I'll say is stay tuned for the next episode that I drop. But apart from that, thank you very much. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me today. You know who I am. I'm Championship Mode on Instagram. I live a blended life as well. That's my personal Instagram page. On YouTube, I am the Consulting Diaries. This is the Consulting Diaries. On LinkedIn, I am Emmanuel Aduawugu. Don't worry about the spelling. It'll be at the end of this clip. Or you can just click one of my Linktree links and it'll take you to all my social media catalogs. Yeah, like, share, follow, subscribe. You know the company motto. Put it out there. Tell your friends about the Consulting Diaries. You know what to do. And to all my subscribers so far, thank you so much. And yeah, let's see where we can grow this too. As always, stay in championship mode.